For Barnstable Today, I'm Len Gobeil. The Barnstable Planning Board met last night and continued their discussion about a possible new parking lot on Main Street, Hyannis. The owners of the Brazilian Grill, located in the west end of Hyannis, is seeking permission to create a new 12-space parking lot across the street from its location. They were represented by attorney David Lawler.
The issue that we're going back and forth on was the issue of whether or not this lot would be open to the public. And in speaking with my client, we can actually live with that. Obviously, we would have to charge. It's not a charity. We're not just going to open up a parking lot and let anybody park there. There would have to be, this would be for-fee parking, but would be open to the public for a fee to be set, a standard parking fee, which it hasn't yet to be determined the exact number, but obviously this is a business and businesses are entitled to make money. We would also potentially allow other businesses to park their valet cars there if they chose to, which would include the Brazilian Grill if they were to contract with the parking lot, with the understanding that no parking spaces would be reserved. So that would not create this sham setup. So if someone came in and said, I want to park there and I want to pay the parking fee, they could park and they could not be trumped and say, oh no, this is reserved for a valet parking spot. That would not occur because that would then defeat the idea of open parking.
After some discussion, Planning Board member Felicia Penn asked Attorney Lawler about how the lot would be staffed.
Now we understand your model. How are you going to do that? Is it going to be meters? Are they going to be like a ticket machine like they have down at Bismore Park? Are there going to be somebody on site to collect a fee?
There'd be somebody on site.
Somebody's going to be on site. So they're going to have
signs that would say, nope, there would have to be somebody there during peak parking periods, or there would be some instructions, or there would certainly be, that hasn't all been worked out, but there will be somebody on site. There will not be meters.
Is there going to be enforcement?
There will have to be.
What about the signs? That you didn't go over any signage change?
I believe I believe that the signage was added. There'll be, fee parking, violators would be towed, sporadically. I believe they're on the, again, I apologize for forgetting my pointer. But there would be, within the code, the appropriate signage.
Is it going to be year-round fees? Are there going to be times where that would not be enforced?
I don't know that. I would suggest it would be year-round. And the public can pay or they can park somewhere else. I mean, certainly it's going to be a higher demand in the peak summer seasons and the shoulder seasons, but I would suggest that it would be year-round.
So if there might be contracts for local businesses in a valet parking situation, and there's a person there who's monitoring the parking lot, obviously there's some chit service or something where they know where this valet works and they bill them later or something, or what?
I would suggest that it would probably be that if somebody came with I don't know if coupon or voucher would be the correct term, but if one were to eat or use a certain establishment, there would be a deal with that particular business that voucher would be good for parking. Otherwise, it would be for pay parking. So, for instance, and I'm not going to hold any numbers, but just say, well, let's just call it a penny. I don't want to. If it was a penny to park, and someone from the public was to pull in and pay the penny to park, someone were to go to another business that this lot contracted with, they would get a voucher and not have to pay the penny. So that would be how the system would work. So, for instance.
So if you're not eating in one of the contractual restaurants, you pay to park, but if you are eating in a contractual location, you don't pay to park.
Well, you're paying to park through the contractual relations with the business, yes. Yes, but I think there's a lot of business.
So it's not like at Prue Center after 5 o'clock if you go eat at Legal Seafoods and take your parking ticket there and have it stamped you get free parking. It's not going to be like that.
I think, well, I don't know the exact, it would be similar to that, yes. So if you go to...
So you don't pay to park if you eat in a contracted area that has a valet deal with them, but you do pay to park if you're just parking off the street.
If you're just parking and you want to walk down and shop at the local shops, you pay the parking fee. And if you go to one of the businesses that not necessarily a restaurant, it could be something else, but more than likely a restaurant that's contracted or valeted, then you would give a voucher and you would pay through your patronage of that particular business.
Board member David Munsell thought the idea of an additional parking on Main Street would be a good idea.
Gee, I don't know what I've missed, but, you know, I see somebody coming in here with going to get rid of a piece of property that's really run down. I don't think we're planning board cops or parking lot cops, but just seems to me as a pretty straightforward plan and an improvement in the area. The screening looks like it's adequate and I don't know why we're have to insist on hiding cars. We've approved many, and everybody that's got a lot in town can go out and pay $250 and get a permit to sell cars. And there's nothing any worse at looking now than the new Ford garage up there with cars parked to the property line. Nothing any worse than corner Bursar's Way and 28 with cars parked to the line. And go down Willow Street and cars are parked to the line. And, here's a place that's at least it's shielding, and they're trying to do it right. I'm appalled, I think, is coming back to us and just to get this, opening it up to public, opening up to this or that, somebody at the gate to keep an eye on it. I would think these people that are putting the money into this lot should have a say in what they're going to do with it. I'm not all for making it a public circus in there, and I think the intent was to help the people across the street. So I don't know where we're going from here, and it just seems like a simple thing to me. And after hearing all the doom and gloom you brought in about all the property that's vacant out there, and that's for sure. It's come spring, and I think you got the downtown people in favor of this, and why should we be against it?
Peter O'Keefe, attorney for the Stone family, owner of the building there, gave a quick synopsis of the problem that they've been having in selling the property.
And just very briefly, two things. It's been in her family since 1924. Her husband ran an antique store, and his mother did before him. And she tells me he passed away a couple of years. His biggest complaint throughout all those years he ran it was lack of parking in the area. He said it was the toughest thing. The other point I'd like to make, it's been on the market since August of 2010, so it's about a year and a half. This is the first offer we've had. So I know that it doesn't address the issues that Felicia's talking about, or all of you, the logistics of it, but as a sheer the aspect of there might be another use for it that you'd prefer. In 18 months, we have not had a single other offer. There are not people dying to buy a building that's in rough shape in an area with no parking. So I just bring that to your attention. It's not addressing the issues that seem to be bothering most of you, but I just think it's important to know there are real live people involved in this, and she happens to be a 93-year-old widow who would love to sell the property.
In the end, the planning board voted to continue the meeting until April 9th. For Barnstable Today, I'm Len Gobeil.